Logics. Logics was a subject that we feared most in our studies of philosophy. In fact, we just were seeing figures, equations, and things start boring. In reality, this was not like that. In fact, there are two major forms of logic: a static logic and a logic in motion. And of course a third one that's dawning on the horizon. Logics. It concerns thinking and thought. A mode of thinking. Thinking is a process, and thinking is not identical with all persons. We do not see things in the same way. Because we can think anything, and there are no control of what we think, the boss doesn't know what we're thinking about, and we do not know what the boss is thinking. Imagine if we did know, what would have happened? But life, since millennia, concerns a process, a working process, concerns production. People have to work. The majority of the inhabitants of this planet have to work. And they have to produce excellence, they have to produce profits, wealth, and all over the world they have to do the same. And they have to do it in being docile. They have to follow their master's orders, and the master should know what to order. In the history of Europe, and actually that is what concerns us, we are products, we are intellectual products of Europe, and especially in the origin of this world system, in the origin of capitalism. At the same time we find, for the first time, the development of a logics, formal logics. Of course, two great philosophers have developed formal logics. Number one, Plato and his doctrine of ideas. What is an idea? And of course, the super idea, summum bonum, the idea of the idea. His student or his pupil, Aristotle, did the same, but with another concept, with form. In his doctrine of form. That's why it's called formal logics. But in fact, formal logics is two fathers, Aristotle and Plato. What is it all about? Why the three laws of formal logics? The three laws of formal logics exactly and precisely has got to do with control. And especially controlling with language, with words, with concepts. And we know the first law is A equal to A. It's a law that concerns identity, identify. And the second law tells us about something that is A, but is not A really. It's the opposite of A. It is no A or non-A. The second law tells us never can A be none. Never can A be no A. And then the third law, which really concerns us, is stating categorically there are nothing else, there is nothing that does not concern A and non-A. There is no B. We're in a world, one single world, in one universe, and that is what's going to happen throughout the superstructure of capitalism since its origin till today. One single postulate, either its ideas, or its matter, or its water, or its news, or its logos, etc. A universe. And even later in the field of physics, for example, the physics of Einstein, of space, from the point from here where I'm sitting, going in any direction, straight line, in a curvature of space, I'll return to exactly what I'm sitting. So, suddenly we have logics, formal logics, is like a cage. You cannot escape. There's no way to escape, and there's a limit. The limit is A. A covers everything. This is the only way in a method of controlling things. Controlling ideas, controlling people, control production. Identification is of course something very important. You have to identify. Imagine when Marx is writing Capital, and every time when he uses the word capital, it should be different. Or should it mean a dog or a cat? No, it is capital, it's identified. But it's an important thing. If you identify something, you cut it off, you cut its relations off from other things. And what is more important, who puts in the content of the thing? What is a cat? Who explains what is a cat? Who explains what is peace? What is good? Who explains that? The moment you cut off something from its relations, it does not move. It's in repose. And the only way to study, the only way that education functions, the only way that you could read a book, is because the things are static. Language is static. There's no motion, no movement. So you have to stop things, you have to cut things. And the moment you cut things from their relationships, they don't exist anymore. They become absolute truths. So A equal A. And A can never equal anything else. That was A equal A, was the geocentric system of ancient Greece. And its logic was precisely formal logics. Before we continue to the next one, dialectical logics, to dialectics, let's look a bit closer. What really do these three laws imply? A equal A. They already begins what I've called the mental holocaust. A equal A for all, for everybody. And the ruling ideas of each epoch is the ideas of the ruling class. Those that rule, they decide what is A. They decide what is peace, what is world peace, what is terrorism, what is a terrorist, and so forth. And they are disseminating this concept, this content across the globe. And because A equal A, everybody repeats this catechism. Learn by rote, A equals A. That happens with every child, from the cradle to the grave. Like a parrot, one has to learn. And the best way, and it was all about it, in ancient Greece began that what is going to flower, that was going to be victorious in the Middle Ages. Theology, metaphysics, Catholicism, religion, the Dominican order, the Spanish Inquisition. That is the basis. Without formal logics, without the ideas of Plato, the Neoplatonists, Plotino, St. Augustine. Without these ideas, theology, Catholicism would not be possible. So, formal logics, because there you need a world of belief. And this is now important. One thing is to know something, I know, and something else is I think. But I believe. I have to believe in the things. I believe in things that people tell me. They are dogmas, doctrines. You have to learn it by rote.